So I want to make a quick video about a really cool activity that we've been using in group therapy with adolescents and in family therapy sessions with obviously the adolescents and their family members. And this is something, shout out to Brené Brown. I believe it was the book Dare to Lead, that she had a story in there about her kid coming home from school and talking about her marble jar friends. So this all started in some of the groups that we've been doing about trust. And we have different kinds of models and frameworks that we use, but one of the main ones we use is Brené Brown's Braving Trust framework around how we build trust with people. And through that, and using the marble jars, we talk about how trust can be built over time. And even using Dr. Perry's NMT framework, we talk about how our brain responds to what it experiences over and over and over. And to build a new skill or a new quality or even a belief, sometimes our brains just need multiple repetitions to get new synaptic connections around that skill, that belief, whatever it is. And so what we do is, what I start out with, and this, you don't have to have anything other than a marble jar. And I recommend, I think I bought this one on Amazon, wasn't too much. But what helps me a lot is to make sure that you have in your jar different sizes of marble. So this one I bought has a lot of small ones, some big ones. And so what we do is I say, imagine that somebody has your full trust. So think of one of your best friends, one of your closest relatives that you trust as much as anybody else. That person probably has a somewhat full jar of marbles for you. They've done a lot of things through your relationship to show you that they're trustworthy. And at that point, we will typically take a lot of these marbles, maybe even you dump the whole thing out, and put it in a separate container. So I have a basket in my office. You could even give each person a handful and give them a few different sizes, right? And we start off with the young person and just say, what is something that somebody can do or has done to help build trust with you? And if it's a family therapy session, it's really great to let them talk with each other. What's something that somebody in this room has done to build trust with you? And what size marble would that be? And every time I've done this, the people that I'm doing it with pick up on it pretty quickly. There's not a lot of explanation that needs to be done. So they might say, when you give me an opportunity to hang out with my friends, or what I hear parents say on the flip side of that is when I let you go out and you tell me you're going to be home at 10 and you come home at 10, that's a decent sized marble. I've heard people say one of mine is when I am in my down times, when I'm really feeling depressed and somebody checks in on me. That's a big marble for me. When people show up on important dates, if people show up when I'm going through a loss, that might be a big marble. Another one for me is, people tell me when you remembered, like I've had clients tell me, when you remember my animals' names, that's a marble, and that could be of different sizes. So this is just a brief activity. Oh, and you can also talk about what can somebody do to take a marble out of your jar. And that's a really cool flip side of that. And it's an eye-opener for all the parties that are involved. One of the cool things, I had a parent recently tell me that it was really good to help her get out of a binary way of thinking about trust. Before maybe you have thought, I either trust you or I don't. And this really helped her give her child a little bit more leeway, runway, generosity around the idea of trust, and realizing that, there maybe something you did was a big marble and it came out of the jar. And at the same time, you've also done a lot of other things, and I do still have a lot of marbles in my jar for you. So this has turned into a conversation framework and a language framework that all the kids where I work, we use. And I love it. I hope it's something that is valuable to you. And go put some marbles in somebody's jar.